Have you ever seen a project just get completely torpedoed by a supplier issue? I mean, it's a painful story, and it happens way too often. And you know what? It almost always boils down to one single thing: a basic misunderstanding of procurement. So in this explainer, we're going to fix that. We are building out a rock-solid, end-to-end framework for the entire procurement lifecycle. This isn't just about acing the PMP exam, though it'll definitely help with that. It's about making your projects way, way more successful. All right, so let's kick things off with a really important question. I want you to think about this. Do you see procurement as, well, just another box to check off on your project plan? Or do you see it for what it really is, the absolute backbone of your project's success? You know, it's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking it's just a bunch of separate tasks, right? You get a quote here, you sign a contract there. But look, the best project managers, the ones who really get it, they understand that procurement is one single integrated system. It's the pipeline that delivers all the external value to your project. And that really brings us to the core idea here. The procurement lifecycle, it's not some side hustle for your project. No way. It is the operational backbone for everything you source from the outside world. Seriously, think of it like one continuous journey. It's this control system that kicks in the second you identify a need and doesn't stop until that very last payment is made. Getting a handle on this whole cradle-to-grave flow is, and I mean this, absolutely essential. It's what protects your budget, your schedule, and the quality of your work. So don't think of this life cycle as just some abstract theory. It's not. It's a functional engine that plugs right into your project. And what's cool is that it perfectly mirrors the project management life cycle we all know. You know, plan, do, check, act. But it applies that logic to the legal world of contracts. Every single phase is built to do one thing: reduce uncertainty. It's designed to prevent what I call organizational amnesia. You know what I'm talking about, right? That awful moment when the final product doesn't look anything like what was originally asked for, all because there was no clear thread connecting the beginning to the end. Well, this life cycle, that is the thread. Okay, so how does this whole engine actually work? Well, it's all about a four-stage logic, and the driving force behind it all is a concept you've got to remember: progressive risk reduction. This is huge. Think about it. At the start, your risk is through the roof, right? You've got a need, but no vendor, no defined price. It's all up in the air. But with every step you take, defining what you need, picking a vendor, watching how they perform, you are systematically swapping out that uncertainty for solid certainty. You're locking in the details step by step and shrinking your project's exposure to risk. Let's make this real. Imagine you're procuring a high-voltage grid for a new data center. Huge, complex job. So, step one, the planning phase. You do your make or buy analysis and decide, yep, we're definitely buying this specialized system. Then, step two, the conducting phase. You put out a detailed RFP, you carefully evaluate all the bidders, and you sign a contract with, let's say, Beta Systems. Okay, now we're in step three, the controlling phase. You're on site every single day, inspecting their work, making sure it meets all those strict safety codes. And finally, step four, the closing phase. You formally verify every single deliverable is perfect before you release that final big payment. See how that works? The lifecycle manages this massive dependency from the very start to the very end. Okay, now this is a really critical point for any PMP. You have to understand the buyer-seller dynamic. Your relationship with a vendor is not static. It changes, and it changes dramatically. Think about it. In the early stages, it's all about exploration, negotiation. You're basically trying to find the right partner. But the second that contract is signed, boom, the whole game changes. The focus shifts entirely to performance and collaboration, but it's all happening within the strict legal boundaries of that contract. So here's the takeaway. You've got to wear two hats. You have to be a great collaborative partner, but at the same time, you have to be a disciplined, by-the-book contract administrator. All right, let's talk PMP exam insights, because this stuff is gold. The exam is absolutely going to test if you know exactly where you are in the procurement lifecycle at any given time. So let's cover 3 common traps you need to watch out for. Trap number 1, the moment that contract is signed, you are officially in the control phase, not conduct. Get that transition rate. Trap number 2, even if a project gets canceled completely, every single contract related to it must go through a formal documented closure. No exceptions. And trap number 3, you have to know the data loop. It goes like this. You get raw data from the vendor, say a progress report, you analyze it, and it becomes useful information. That information might lead you to file a change request. And if that gets approved, it formally changes the legal agreement. Data to info, to change request to agreement, you have to know that sequence. So where does all this live in the real world? Well, this whole life cycle gets documented in one super critical place, the procurement file. And please don't think of this as some dusty folder of paperwork sitting on a shelf. It's not. It is a powerful management tool. This is your complete, indexed record of the contract. It's your evidence that you're managing things properly. And, maybe most importantly, it's your best friend for managing stakeholder expectations. When your sponsor comes asking questions, you don't answer with, "I think," or "I feel." You open the file and answer with facts, giving them a crystal clear, data-driven view on how every single external piece of work is going. Okay, let's wrap this up and really hammer home the key takeaways. Think of these as the 7 pillars of procurement. Number 1, it's a life cycle, not just a task. 2, its whole purpose is to deliver progressive certainty and crush risk. 3, the contract is your anchor for everything. 4, you have to integrate it with the main project. It can't be a silo. 5, every single contract gets formally closed. I mean it, no exceptions. 6, your documentation is your proof of good management. And finally, number 7, remember that you, the project manager, are the ultimate integrator. You're the one who makes us all work together. So there you have it. That's the entire procurement life cycle, from start to finish. You now have a solid framework for managing all of your project's external dependencies. But, and this is a big but, just understanding the process is only half the battle. The marketplace out there is full of specific traps and pitfalls that are just waiting to trip you up. So in our next explainer, we're going to dive deep into the most common procurement hazards. We'll show you what they are so you can spot them and avoid them, making sure your projects are nothing but a success. I'll see you then.